In 1946, after the Second World War, I hate it. My father and his newlywed wife came to Milan, and they decided to open a shul. Ashkenazi in Milan were not exactly in abundance. So he opened a shul, and he contacted Paris to have a rabbi sent. Rav Perlov came to Milan, and he stayed for roughly 11 years. After which he decided, Rav Perlov was Chabad. But at the time, Chabad was not what Chabad is now. In 1957, the Rebbe agreed to let him go to Australia to join his family. At that stage, my family asked the Rebbe to send a new shaliach. And a young couple, 23 and 22-year-olds, came to Milan, and the Rebbe asked Rav Garelik if he was willing to go to Magna Carta. Italy wasn't on the map in those. Yiddishkeit didn't exist after the Second World War. And the Rebbe, during his Farbrengen, used to mention every time the shlichut of Rav Garelik in Milan. Now, why am I telling the story? Because after Rav Garelik came to Milan, and you know his children and the big family, we got somebody else to come to Milan. Somebody to teach us, Rav Moshe Lazar. So you can see from Rav Garelik, you've got already spreading to the world. Then we brought Rav Lazar, and again, you've got them all over the world. Then we got Rav Lipska. There are now 25 Chabad shluchim in Milan, from zero. What is even more important, when Rav Perlov came to Milan, there wasn't a mikveh. My father organized so that Rav Perlov built the only mikveh in the world, apart from the Frierdiker Rebbe's mikveh, that was bor al bor. No other place in the world at the time had this kind of mikveh. And we grew up, if you want, very protected. It was a small community, and we felt very much at home. And the connection with the Rebbe grew more, and from 1952 onwards, my father used to go 3 times a year to Russia, bringing, under the Rebbe's instruction, whether it was destroygim, whether it was matzah, whether it was whatever people needed, he would bring. And we are talking about Stalin time, so it was not exactly like it is nowadays. In 1971, he went in the summer to Russia, and his suitcase got lost. So when he went to the airport, and it was the only second time that his brother came with him. It was Beshet that the brother came with him, because when they opened the suitcase and they saw what was in it, my father was put into jail. And that's why I say it was Beshet. His brother called the Rebbe, and through the Rebbe's connection, my father was freed from jail. The Rebbe told him, you will never go back to Russia again. Having done for 15 years, 3 times a year, Siamnu. It was the time when my father brought out some of the Sforim of the Frierdiker Rebbe that are now in 7070. So this is, if you want, the connection. And it grew, and it got to the stage where my family actually made the Rebbe 77% shutaf in the business. And it was an estate where we used to make olive oil that the Rebbe used every Chanukah to light the Chanukah in 770. I grew up taking all these things for granted. You know, that was normal for me. And I also went to the Rebbe. I was a 17-year-old schnips. I had Yehidus with the Rebbe. For me, it was, okay, I've been to the Rebbe, fantastic, but I didn't think I had a particular schut in going to the Rebbe. And I started corresponding, and I wrote to the Rebbe. Then now we can go to the other one.